Hi everybody, it's Melissa Vanity. Welcome back to my channel. So since we are in the month of Halloween, it's not even October anymore, it's the month of Halloween, I thought that I would share with you guys another creepy story. So last week's story that I posted was about living in a haunted house and my paranormal experience there. This story is about a topic that I feel is going to be really sensitive for a lot of reasons. Now I know that the majority of everyone who sees this video is not going to believe me, and I am fully aware that I'm going to kind of look crazy saying all of this out loud, but I am just honest to God telling you guys what happened and what I experienced. Maybe I interpreted things wrong, maybe I saw things that weren't there for whatever reason, maybe it was just a hallucination. All I know is everything I'm going to tell you is 100% the truth in my point of view. So without further ado, let's get into the story of how I met the devil. So if you watched last week's story time, and if you haven't, go ahead and check it out. I will leave the link in the description bar below to that video. In that story, I basically brushed over how the house that I grew up in was kind of haunted. I also mentioned that I'm a semi-practicing pagan. Now, what that means is that now I don't really practice as much as I used to. I just kind of stick to the ideology of it. However, when I was younger, I was fully practicing. I used to hold rituals regularly. I would cast a few times a week, sometimes just to kind of get in touch with the energy. It was not infrequent for me to be casting. However, at that time, I was casting with my best friend. She was also very big into paganism at that time, although honestly, looking back on it now, she was probably into it for a lot of the wrong reasons. So, I mean, I'm kind of glad that nothing worse happened. As we kind of got towards the end of our friendship, unfortunately we're not friends anymore, as we got to the end of our friendship, I started hearing a lot from her about how she really wanted to start playing with some darker areas, and I was really just not down for that, especially after this experience. Basically what had happened is we decided one night that we were going to mess around, her and I, and she had brought a friend. So I will call her Jane and I will call her friend Sam. Sam and Jane and I decided that we were going to, I don't remember if we wanted to cast a love spell or an attraction spell or something like that. We wanted to cast something silly involving this guy that Sam was either interested in or was interested in her or something like that. We sat down, we got all of the materials together, and we basically started getting to work. Now, I'll kind of explain to you the layout of my room at the time because that plays a giant factor in the story itself. Kind of when you walked into my room, right in front of you there was like a wall that, it was my closet, so it kind of like came out a bit and then went straight, and that was my closet. So after you walked in and saw that, right on your right was my actual room itself. So right on the side of the closet I had a mirror, like a dresser with a big mirror on it that I would use to get ready in the morning. Then there was my bed, splitting the room in half. Like after my bed was there, there was basically like just this much room to pass around. There was my dresser with the mirror, and then the bed that kind of split the room. On the other side of the room there was stuff that like doesn't matter. There was like my bookshelves and whatever. But across from the mirror, so when you walked in, right on the wall to your right was a stand with a television. From the television's reflection you could see the dresser with the mirror and vice versa. We were sitting on the ground in front of the television, and that's where we started casting. So we put up our circle, we lit the candle, all the lights were closed and we had our salt and everything, and we started casting. Now we were doing all of the, saying all the things that we were supposed to say and do and whatever, and I was eyes closed, really deep into it, like really trying to connect with the energies, and all of a sudden Sam goes, Mel, look at Jane. And I look up and all I see is Jane basically staring into the flame super, super intently, like she was just looking into this fire like it held her entire future, completely spaced out, and she was just grabbing pinches of salt and putting them into the flame as like she was staring into it. So she was just grabbing and staring and grabbing and staring. It was really freaky. And I started asking her like, Jane, are you okay? Are you okay? And she wasn't responding. She was just sitting there and staring into the fire, and then she started going, okay, no, okay, I promise. Sam and I were looking at each other like, what the hell is going on? And so I go back to start like trying to kind of snap Jane out of whatever kind of trance she was caught in. As I turned, because Jane was right in front of the TV, as I turned, I saw movement in the TV. As I looked at the TV more intently, I caught the reflection of the mirror, and the reflection of the mirror literally had like your stereotypical demon scene. It was flames and like a man with horns and kind of reddish skin, not super dark or anything, just a little bit reddish, and there were horns and what looked like fire all around him, and he was just standing in the mirror staring at us. I resisted the temptation to actually turn around and look in the actual mirror itself. I felt like if I looked into that mirror, it would actually eat my soul or take something from me. I don't know how to describe it. So I resisted the urge to look into the mirror, and I just kept looking at the TV, and I was seeing this, and I swear I was staring at it like thinking that I was on some kind of drugs and like hallucinating, or I don't know, but I was seeing it happen, and it just freaked me out to the point that I turned around and I'm like, no, we have to stop this right now. Like this is not okay. I don't know what the hell is going on, and I'm not down with it at all. And I turn back around and I start like really trying to get Jane's attention, because like I can't break anything with her still caught in whatever the hell she's caught in, because it's not gonna work. So I turn back around and I'm like really like, Jane, look at me, you know? And she just like looks up and blinks and then is like right back to her normal self, and she's like, okay, no, cut it. I turned, like, I blew out the candle, I said my goodbyes, broke the circle, and turned back on the light. We kind of just stood there for a few seconds, catching our breath and like trying to understand what just happened and kind of grasp the situation and figure out like what was going on. So we took a breath, and then after we took our breath, we all sat down and we decided to talk about what the hell happened. Well, of course, naturally, we left my room because we were like, fuck that shit, bye. We went to go sit at like the kitchen table, and we were just sitting there and looking at each other, and finally we turned to Jane and we're like, what the hell happened to you? Like, you were out, so what happened? And she just goes, I don't know. I kept hearing voices in my head asking for your souls, and I kept telling them no. Sorry if the angle changed. I actually just got a call. So like we were saying, after she told us that, we were like, either this is a really big joke or some other shit is going on around here, and I don't know which one it is, but both of them are like not funny at all. And she's like, no guys, I swear that's what happened. I really heard that in my head, and I just kept telling them like, no. And eventually she told us that she actually ended up having to make a promise to exchange something that he wants in order for us to be released. We asked her, like, okay, what did you have to promise? And she's like, I don't know, I just told him he could have something that he wants. He agreed. That kind of freaked everybody out, and we decided to do something else for the rest of the night. We were done messing around with that stuff. Ever since that night, I kind of look at magic an entirely different way, and I think it just kind of opened my eyes to how seriously dangerous it really could be. Ever since that night, I kind of cut back on casting and cut back on magic in general, and I try now to only do it when it's absolutely necessary. And I've kind of, honestly, I haven't done anything in a long time. It really freaked me out. Not only hearing her say those words, like hearing her say that, I mean, it could have just been something that she was trapped in. It could have just been a joke that she was trying to play. It could have just been so many things. It's not even hearing what she said. More so, it was what I saw. It was seeing that reflection in the television screen and seeing that creature. Even at that, I know that people will argue like, oh, how did you know it was the devil? Maybe it was just a demon. Maybe it was just something that you saw in your head. And like I said, it's perfectly possible that it was just a hallucination, and I don't know why. But I just, from the center of my being, like as soon as I saw that reflection, in like my soul, in my heart of hearts, I knew, like I knew what I was looking at. Honestly, I don't know if I'd ever be comfortable getting into regularly casting ever again, just because of that reason, because I feel like he's waiting to come back, that he's waiting for me to get into that space and I'll be vulnerable to him again. I mean, life moves on and I've just kind of moved on. So that is my story of how I met the devil. I hope that that was an interesting story for you guys, whether you believed me or not. Again, like I said, I swear on my life that everything I told you was 100% true from my perspective. Like, it's all what I saw, it's all what I experienced, and it's all 100% true. But whether you believe me or not, I mean, I hope that the story entertained you at the very least. Let me know if you're interested in hearing more of my story times. I have a lot more magic and paranormal story times that I could share with you, and I also just have regular story times too, because I'm always up to some kind of stupid shit in my life. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you very, very soon. Love you.